you ready to heal your mind, body, and soul from the inside out? Welcome to the Real Healing Institute show with Michelle Sinclair, divine healer and spiritual teacher, where spiritual transformation meets practical guidance to break free from limiting beliefs, subconscious pain, and energetic blocks. This is a powerful space for those seeking true healing and enlightenment. Michelle's teachings are rooted in her deep study of the Christ letters and the spiritual awakening that came from her unwavering dedication to divine truth. She helps individuals navigate their inner healing journey through subconscious soul healing techniques and spiritual teachings by uplifting the vibrational resonance of our thoughts, words, and actions that shape the very fabric of our lives. It is time to learn the profound understandings of universal love. The Real Healing Institute show starts now. Hello, and welcome to the Real Healing Institute show. Today we have my guest, Laura LaPlante, with the Cosmic Christ Force. This is what we do together here. And so what we are talking about today is Christ consciousness, and can you connect to Christ consciousness through the mind? This has always, been one of those topics of, are we connecting through our heart? Are we connecting through our mind? What exactly is Christ consciousness and how can you achieve it? So welcome, Laura, thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you.
So
Fun.
Of course. Okay, so talking about Christ consciousness and the mind, what is your take on this? When I just say to you, you can connect to Christ consciousness through the mind, what actually comes to mind? What's the intricacies around this?
The Christ letters, Yeshua goes to great lengths to really talk about how to refine the mind, refine the ego field that the mind generates. There's so much in there, and it's so rich with explanation, context, etc. I will pale in comparison to that. What comes through, though, for me is I had another mentor who used to say, at a certain point, you've left the rational mind and you've really stepped into the heart. And he would say, you'll never get there with the mind. You've got to get there through your heart. But the thing is, in order to get into our heart and in order to get to my heart space to where I could truly relax enough to allow my ego or my soul to drive my ego, rather than the other way around. And I could allow my heart to lead me through life, and navigate life. I had to satisfy my mind so that it could feel safe, so that it could release the layers that needed to be released that were blocking that surrender, that flow, that trust, that faith, because we have so many constructs. There's so much that our mind has been programmed with in the current reality. It's quite dense. And can be riddled with all sorts of, fears and pitfalls. So for many people, in order for us to get to the heart, we need to satisfy, to some extent, the mind. That's what comes in me. What are your thoughts?
So for me, I'm thinking truly everything is consciousness, right? Which is the mind. Everything is consciousness. Even in the Bible, it talks about, in the beginning was the word, and then, it was spoken, and then this was created. But it then later goes on to say, it was created, but it didn't actually exist. But what has to come before the words come out is mind, is consciousness, is thought that has to be there. And so when we can really tune into the mind and its intricacies, and what are we devoting our mind to? Because we can go from hell to heaven 1 second to the next, just based on what we're thinking about, right? We're having a good conversation, things are wonderful. All of a sudden you get a phone call from somebody and the energy goes from way up here to way down here. The resonance of heaven is way up here. The most divine thing that exists is that laughter, and the laughter to the point that there's actually no sound that comes out. That is the most divine laughter, when you're like in it so deep that it's that. And so I would say anything that is in the mind that is not that is not loving, that is not vibrating at that high resonance, that needs to be eradicated. so that you can be on the Christ consciousness level. Because, Christ was walking around. Sure, he was a human. He was just a dude.
Very.
And so, so human. And he said that over and over, he would say, no, I'm the son of man, letting people know, like, I didn't say I was the son of God. I never claimed to be. I claimed to be the son of man, meaning what I can do, you can do too. But what he had done was cleansed his mind of all of the things that were not the truth, that were not that love. So in my mind, in my opinion, it is the mind that is really the be all and end all. It is the way. And so if we were to examine our mind, what are we holding in our mind that, Christ wouldn't have held in his mind? Would he judge people while he was walking by them on the street? He wouldn't. And so if we naturally do that, and we naturally do that, right? We have that part of our brain that's the protector part that's like, oh, be afraid of this person. Oh, look at this. They're not safe, or whatever it is. And it's getting rid of that, because that's all programming. When you were little and you were born, you didn't judge people when you met them. You just loved them. You just accepted them until something happened and then gave you a reason to do these things. So, in my mind,
I feel
it's
like
the way.
I feel like we're saying the same thing. It's interesting because really, it's like they talk about in the time of Revelations, or in the latter days, right? He talks about um, hmm, there's nothing that will remain hidden in the hearts of man, right? And what blocks that heart coherence, that love field that we're generating?
Yes.
Fear generated by the ego that we then hold in place through the constructs in the mind, which are of course meant to, again, his time in the desert, dealing with the bonding and the rejection impulses. And I've been moving through this with some family dynamics and some other things that are going on. And I recognize it's like, it can be very challenging, right? Because there is that feel. I don't want to be abandoned. I don't want to be alone. I don't want to be rejected. I don't want all these things, right? And it's like, so we have all these protective mechanisms, parts, constructed, belief systems, et cetera, to help to keep us safe from what? And
Yes.
doing is blocking the ability to just love, which is what you just said. So it's, yeah, it's that heart and mind coherence. There's also something that came up with someone yesterday, someone that you and I both know very well, who is just this brilliant brain. Like he has this
Yeah.
brilliant mind, right?
He does.
And was figuring out an equation quite eloquently, by the way. It actually quite worked mathematically. An equation to basically prove consciousness, prove remembrance. There's some interesting things that he had going on there. It was brilliant. And as I was reading it, I was like, yep, that makes sense. And then I responded back to him and I said, isn't it wonderful how we can use the mind to come up with an equation so that we can satisfy the mind? But if we were to forego the mind and get into the heart and feel the resonance and feel the love, we wouldn't need to think of any of these things at all. I said it a little more than that at the time, but you get the idea. The general gist of it is what flowed through in the moment was, yes, satisfy the mind, explore this. And we could just throw it all out and know that ultimately we're just love expressed and we could just live in the heart. So it's interesting to kind of, right? But it's both. I guess that's the thing is, they say many say that when you get to the point of paradox where it's like, it's both, you're actually closest to the truth.
Yeah.
It's everything.
That's yeah. I think, too, with the mind, if it is clouding the perceptions, right? We have all these ideas, all these things have happened to me in my life, all these things have happened. And so I think this way because this happened. And I think this way because I'm protecting myself. I'm worrying about this because what about this? And we make all these excuses and all these reasons for why we think the way that we think. And it is not beneficial to us most of the time. It is typically something that is, actually harmful to us, that we continue to think these thoughts, we continue to think these things that are harmful when they're not meant to be harmful. They're meant to be protective, but they are harming us, right? So let's say something happened to you, your mind, somebody insults your shoes, you're a little kid. Well, what happens is the mind then goes, oh, I better not wear those shoes again. It's going to remember where you were. It's going to remember the person. You're going to maybe even remember the weather. You're going to remember all these details about this thing because the mind believes it's protecting you. but it's not protecting you. It's setting up this shell around the outside of you that's saying it's not safe to be here. What if somebody's going to do something to me again? And when that program gets in there and you're little, it plays over and over and over and over until you go in the subconscious mind and you change it, or you pray to change it, or you even become aware that it's there in the first place and that you need to change it. But these things will play over and over. And even an experience like that of believing you need to be protected because somebody might come and harm you, you're playing the vibration of, I'm not protected and somebody's going to harm me. And what happens? That experience of that belief will flow back into your life and will give you the opportunity to experience, oh, I planted these seeds through my belief. And
And to
so there's
empower.
so many. Yes, to realize how powerful you truly are. Like, man, yeah, this was negative, but I created this through my fear and through the belief and through the vibration that I hold inside of me. So if we want to really cleanse our minds of all the things that are not, let's just say, holy, meaning loving, meaning when you look at somebody, when you see somebody, if you can look at them and all you can see is love, you've made it. You're there. There's nothing more to do except then continue to love them. So let's say that you're not at that place right now. What's a hot tip that you could give somebody about that, about cleansing their minds, keeping them in a good place?
You know what, Michelle, that's a great question for you. You have the mental cleanse, and you have so many wonderful ways that you explore this. And I know we don't have a lot of time left here, so I want to actually direct that back to you because you're
Okay.
go-to on this. What I would say on that is I just stop and I look and I understand that the root underneath any behavior is the desire to love and to be loved. And I think what the Course in Miracles and others quote, they say that everything is either love or a call for love, right? And so
Yeah.
that's what I look at, but it takes pausing, it takes breathing, it takes becoming aware, it takes a lot of self-mastery to be able to have that moment of pause, to stop and to find the love underneath all of it. And then also going into that higher perspective and going, how is this serving my soul's journey? How is this serving my greater arc in life of self-mastery? What is the opportunity in this? Those are the things that I stop and look and contemplate. But as far as actually techniques to go in, that's your realm, my friend.
Well, I would say that that's amazing. And that talk, what you just said there, and it really is just everything is the opportunity for love. Because I know, when I'm working with clients, let's say we have somebody that's really angry or something like this. The underlying thing is never anger. It is, I've been hurt. I feel sad about something. I don't feel safe. I don't feel protected. And that makes me very angry. And why does it make them very angry? Because every single one of us intuitively knows that we are supposed to be living in love, that we are supposed to be expressing love, and that that is what we're supposed to be receiving all the time. And when that doesn't match up, then we can get angry, we could get sad, we could feel despair, we could feel disappointment or hopeless or whatever it is. There will be all kinds of things that we will experience because what we were expecting and wanting was love and we didn't get it. And so it changed something in our belief system and made us act or behave or feel a certain way that was not helpful to us. Now, I know we don't have a lot of time here, so whoever's listening, I would like to invite you guys to our spiritual circles. We call it spiritual recess. Um, these are Christ light circles. They're super fun. You can hop online. So we are cosmicchristforce.org. And you can hop on there and get information about that. We do them 3 times a week. Alora will do activations and energy healing. I will channel messages, and they will be similar to parables, just interesting things that come through, and they always apply to the people that show up on our calls. And Alora, would you like to say something about that?
Well, I think that what's great about those is they're fun, they're entertaining, they're light, and they teach us something about life. They give us some
Mhm.
moral of the story or some piece of, to help us to really address what we're moving through in life. And I find that, yeah, they help me tremendously. And as far as the activations, everything that we do, the other really important thing is we focus on sovereignty. We are not your gurus. We are not trying to pull you into some kind of dogma. We're actually seeking to help you to understand that anything that we can do, you can do, and probably more, just as Christ said. And so
Yes.
everything that we do is about activating you into your own sovereignty and helping you to become truly empowered and lead in a sovereign way in your own life, and understand that you are a powerful creator and that you are creating in every moment.
Yes. Excellent. Thank you for that. So this is the Real Healing Institute. You can find me on the realhealinginstitute.com or the Real Healing Institute on all platforms, including YouTube, where there's a daily podcast. Thank you so much for joining me today, Laura. It was wonderful. We hope to see you at one of our spiritual circles at the cosmicchristforce.org. We look forward to seeing you guys. Thanks so much for coming today, Laura.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you for joining the Real Healing Institute show with me, Michelle Sinclair. Tune in every second and fourth Wednesday at 9:30 a.m. Pacific on TransformationTalkRadio.com for more empowering ways to spread love and set yourself free. Together, we'll elevate the consciousness of the planet. Stay connected. Follow me on social media, subscribe to the podcast, and explore the Mental Cleanse series on YouTube. Ready to go deeper? Book a session with Michelle at therealhealinginstitute.com. Until next time, keep healing, keep growing, and remember, love is the only way.